You wake up tired, even after 8 hours of sleep. You scroll through your phone before you even breathe. You smile at people but feel nothing inside. You chase goals that no longer excite you, please people who no longer matter, and every night you ask yourself the same quiet question. Why does everything still feel so heavy? The truth is, it's not life that's heavy. It's what you're carrying. The past you can't forgive. The approval you keep begging for. The fears that whisper you're not enough. These things don't live outside you. They live inside your head, eating your peace piece by piece. And the worst part? You've learned to call this normal. You wear your exhaustion like a medal and your pain like a personality. You think more success, more money, more validation will make it stop. But freedom never comes from adding. It comes from letting go. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Our life is what our thoughts make it. If your thoughts cling to garbage, your life will rot with it. But if you dare to cut away the excess, to release the noise, the pride, the constant need to be seen, you will start to breathe again." Think about it. How many of your burdens are self-inflicted? How many are stories you keep repeating because you're afraid of who you'd be without them? This video isn't here to give you new dreams or shiny motivation. It's here to help you burn the old lies. Over the next 12 lessons, we'll strip away the weights that have been stealing your clarity, your discipline, your peace. Not with anger, but with awareness. You don't need more advice. You need less noise. So take a deep breath. Leave your excuses at the door. This is not self-improvement. It's self-liberation. Because the life you want doesn't begin when you add something new. It begins the moment you finally have the courage to let go. 1. Stop proving your worth to those who left. You owe no explanation to those who broke you. When someone betrays you, whether the friend who turned away, a lover who walked out, or a colleague who stabbed you in the back, your first instinct is to explain. To defend your name, your side of the story, your worth. You want them to understand you didn't deserve the pain. But every word you speak to justify yourself is another chain tying you back to the person who already decided you weren't worth the truth. They are not listening to understand. They are listening to protect their own illusion. And every time you explain, you step back into their world, begging for peace from the very hands that destroyed it. The Stoics remind us, never waste your energy trying to control the opinions of others. You can't argue someone into respecting you. You can only live in a way that makes their disrespect irrelevant. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. The most powerful revenge is indifference. When you walk away quietly without drama or explanation, you reclaim your energy. You tell the universe, I choose peace over proof. The one who betrayed you no longer deserves access to your story. Let them keep their version. You'll write a better one without them. Every time you resist the urge to explain, you build a new kind of strength. The strength that comes from knowing you don't need to be understood to have value. You are not obligated to reopen old wounds for someone who caused them. Don't send another message. Don't craft another speech. Let your silence do the talking. Walk away and rebuild, not to prove them wrong, but to remind yourself who you are when you're no longer trying to please the wrong people. Because the moment you stop performing for your betrayers, you stop being their victim. That's where freedom begins, not in forgiveness from others, but in detachment from the need for it. 2. Let go of dreams that no longer belong to you. There was a time when your dreams gave you life. They pushed you forward, gave your pain a purpose, and painted the future with meaning. But sometimes, those same dreams become cages. What once inspired you now drains you. You keep chasing an image that no longer fits who you become. Maybe it's a career you once swore you wanted, the status you thought would make you whole, or the version of yourself you promised others you'd become. You run faster, work harder, yet deep down, something feels off, like you're climbing a mountain that leads nowhere. The truth is simple. Not every dream deserves to survive. Some were born from pressure, not passion, from fear of disappointing others, not from the call of your own heart. There is no shame in changing direction. The shame is in wasting years pretending the old past still matters. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And what greater waste than chasing a purpose that's already expired? Letting go of outdated dreams doesn't mean failure. It means evolution. You are not the same person who made those goals. Your heart has changed. Your vision has matured. Life is not about loyalty to your younger self. It's about honesty with your present one. Imagine holding on to a bird that's ready to fly. Your grip doesn't save it. It kills it. The same is true with dead dreams. Release them, and you create space for new passions to breathe. You'll know which dreams to keep. They'll make you lighter, not heavier. They'll pull you forward, not trap you in what if. So pause today. Look at the goals that consume your time and ask, do I still want this, or am I just afraid to let it go? Freedom begins when you choose authenticity over expectation, when you stop chasing what used to matter and start living what matters now. 3. Stop turning your pain into a story for the world. After heartbreak, betrayal, or loss, there's a deep urge to talk, to explain, to vent, to be heard. You tell your friends, you post cryptic quotes online, you replay every detail like a movie you can't stop watching. But every time you share that story, you keep the wound open. You turn your pain into a performance. People will listen, yes, but not because they care deeply. Most listen out of curiosity, not compassion. And when the conversation ends, you're still the one bleeding. The Stoics teach us that we only control our own mind, not the reactions of others. When you broadcast your pain, you give your power away. You hand over your peace to an audience that can't heal you. There's dignity in silence. There's healing in privacy. You don't need to justify why it ended, why they hurt you, why you're struggling. You only need to know one thing, that walking away was necessary. True strength isn't shouting, I'm okay. It's rebuilding quietly until you actually are. Every word you say about the past keeps you living in it. Let your silence be your boundary and your rebirth. Protect your story until you're strong enough to tell it from a place of wisdom, not pain. Because right now, your energy belongs to recovery, not reputation. The world doesn't need to know the details of your heartbreak. It needs to see the peace that follows it. So next time you feel the urge to explain, stop, breathe. Remember that silence doesn't mean weakness. It means control. Let your next chapter speak for itself. One day, those who doubted you will see the difference between noise and growth. Until then, stay quiet, stay grounded, and heal in private. You owe no one your pain. You owe yourself your peace. 4. Master your anger before it masters you. Anger is seductive. It makes you feel powerful for a moment, like you're finally in control, finally standing up for yourself. But that control is an illusion. The truth is, when anger takes over, it owns you. You shout, slam doors, send messages you'll regret, and afterward, you're left empty, ashamed, and weaker than before. Losing your temper doesn't show strength. It exposes how fragile your peace really is. The Stoic philosopher Seneca warned that nothing resembles a wild beast more than a man consumed by anger. When fury takes the wheel, reason disappears. And in that chaos, you become the very thing you despise. Think of the times you exploded in public, at work, in traffic, or with someone you love. Did it make them respect you? Or did it make them fear you, distance themselves from you, stop listening altogether? Rage burns your own house long, before it reaches your enemy. Calm, on the other hand, is a weapon sharper than any insult. It disarms people. It turns chaos into silence. It shows that your power comes not from reaction, but from restraint. The one who can stay steady in the storm commands every room they enter. The one who stays grounded when provoked earns a kind of respect no title can buy. Anger will always whisper, defend yourself now. But peace will quietly say, not everything deserves your fire. Every time you choose calm, you train your mind to rise above your emotions. You become unshakable. The world will keep testing your patience, but remember this. People who can't control their emotions will always be controlled by those who can. So the next time rage begins to rise in your chest, pause. Breathe. Let the silence stretch. Your calm doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're free. Because real strength isn't about who shouts the loudest. It's about who remains silent longest. 5. Stop feeding on gossip and judgment. Every time you speak ill of someone, you think you're building connection, but you're really building poison. Gossip feels good for 5 minutes. It gives you attention, makes you feel included, powerful even. But afterward, something in you always feels dirty, like you've traded a piece of your integrity for a drop of approval. The truth is, gossip doesn't expose others. It exposes you. When you tear someone down behind their back, you're announcing to the world that you cannot be trusted when they're not around. And if you listen closely, people remember. They may laugh with you, but inside they wonder, what will you say about me when I'm gone? Gossip destroys credibility faster than any mistake. Seneca wrote that a wise man cares not for the secrets of others, only for keeping his own character pure. The words you speak are seeds. What you plant in others' minds grows back into your own life. Speak bitterness, and bitterness returns. Speak grace, and respect follows. It's not just about kindness. It's about self-respect. A disciplined tongue is a sign of a disciplined mind. When you resist gossip, you rise above the noise. You become the person people trust, the one who doesn't join the whispers, who changes the subject instead. That quiet refusal earns more respect than 1,000 clever insults ever could. Remember this. Small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, and great minds discuss ideas. Every time you choose silence over slander, you prove which mind you have. The next time someone leans in with, "Did you hear what happened?" Pause. Smile. Walk away. You lose nothing by staying silent. You lose everything by joining in. Because the moment you choose to protect another's dignity, you strengthen your own. Gossip is cheap. Integrity is priceless. Choose the one that lasts. 6. Stop comparing your path to theirs. Comparison is the slowest kind of poison. It doesn't kill you all at once. It drains you drop by drop. You scroll through social media and see someone younger with more success, a friend with a new car, a colleague with a promotion you wanted. At first, it's just a thought, but then it festers. Why not me? That single question begins to rot your peace. What you forget is that no one posts their struggle, their sleepless nights, or their quiet doubts. You see their highlight reel and compare it to your behind-the-scenes chaos. And the more you look outward, the less you see your own progress. The Stoics taught that envy is ignorance of your own gifts. You cannot grow while staring sideways. The race of life was never meant to be run in lanes. It's an individual climb, each person carrying a different weight, facing a different storm. When you focus on your own step, your journey becomes lighter. When you look left and right, you trip. Every time you compare, you're saying to yourself, what I have is not enough. Who I am is not enough. But you are enough, you're just distracted. You don't see how far you've come because you're too busy measuring by someone else's map. Remember this. Success that comes from comparison will always need comparison to survive. But success that grows from self-respect never fades. The only person you should compete with is the one you were yesterday. Did you grow? Did you learn? Did you choose discipline over distraction? That's the real scoreboard. So next time envy creeps in, use it as a mirror, not a weapon. Let it remind you of what you truly value. Then get back to building your story. Because no one else can live your life, no matter how perfect theirs looks. The measure of your worth isn't found in someone else's win. It's in your courage to keep going, even when no one's watching. 7. Break free from the addiction to scrolling. You tell yourself it's just 5 minutes. You grab your phone to check one message, one video, one update, and suddenly an hour is gone. The sun has set, your focus is scattered, and your mind feels heavy, numb, empty. You didn't relax. You escaped. That's what mindless scrolling does. It steals your attention in silence. It convinces you that you're connecting, learning, staying updated, when in truth, you're drifting further away from your own life. Every scroll is a small surrender of your power. You feed on other people's highlights while starving your own purpose. You compare your raw reality to their filtered fantasy and call it truth. But deep down, you know most of it isn't real. It's a curated illusion. Perfect smiles hiding anxiety. Success masking loneliness. Luxury covering emptiness. The Stoics would call this a theater of distraction, where people trade presence for performance. And you, unknowingly, become both the audience and the actor. When you put your phone down, the silence feels awkward at first. Your brain screams for another hit of stimulation. But stay in that silence long enough, and you'll hear something you've forgotten. The sound of your own thoughts. That's where clarity lives. Technology isn't the enemy. Addiction is. Social media can teach, inspire, connect, but only when used with intention. You must learn to consume with purpose, not by reflex. Ask yourself before you scroll, am I learning something or am I hiding from something? If the answer is escape, stop. Go outside. Write. Walk. Talk to someone in real life. Feel the texture of time again. Because life doesn't happen on a glowing screen. It happens in the unfiltered moments between breaths. You will never find peace in the endless feed of other people's lives. You'll find it the moment you return to your own. 8. Stop chasing approval and start listening to yourself. You've spent years trying to be liked by bosses, friends, followers, family. You've shaped yourself into what you thought they wanted. Agreeable, impressive, safe. Every compliment felt like oxygen. Every criticism felt like a wound. But no matter how much approval you gathered, it was never enough. That's because validation is a drug. The more you get, the more you need. And just like any addiction, it blinds you to your own truth. You start to measure your worth by reactions, likes, applause. You lose the sound of your own voice beneath the noise of everyone else's opinions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "All glory is fleeting, but character endures." The crowd that cheers you today will forget your name tomorrow. Their attention is currency with no value. Living for approval is like wearing a mask that slowly suffocates you. It may look beautiful, but it kills your authenticity. You were not born to be someone's reflection. You were born to be your own light. Every time you chase validation, you give the world permission to control your emotions. When they praise you, you rise. When they ignore you, you fall. That's not freedom. That's slavery in disguise. True confidence begins when you stop performing and start existing. When you realize you don't need applause to breathe. You don't need agreement to act with integrity. The people who truly matter will respect your honesty, not your perfection. The rest were never your audience to begin with. So the next time you catch yourself editing your truth to be accepted, stop. Speak the words that feel right, not the ones that sound safe. Wear your truth boldly, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Because the moment you stop begging for permission, you start living with power. You'll lose a few admirers, yes, but you'll gain something priceless, your self-respect. And that, unlike approval, can never be taken away. 9. Release the illusion of perfection. Perfection sounds noble. It hides behind words like excellence, standards, and discipline. But in reality, it's fear wearing a mask. The fear of judgment. The fear of not being enough. The fear of failing where others might see. So you keep polishing, revising, hesitating, waiting for the right time, the perfect version, the sure result. Meanwhile, life moves on without you. You tell yourself you're preparing, but really you're delaying. Perfectionism doesn't protect you from failure. It guarantees it, because you never begin. A writer who waits for the flawless sentence never finishes the book. A creator who fears imperfection never releases their work. A dreamer who fears criticism never lives their dream. Seneca warned us, while we waste time hesitating, life slips away. Progress is built on movement, not mastery. Every mistake you make is a sign that you're in motion, alive, learning. Think of a sculptor carving stone. The first cuts are rough, uneven, even ugly. But without them, the statue never emerges. You can't edit what doesn't exist. You can't grow from what you never start. The truth is, perfection is not the goal. It's the enemy of growth. Because perfection demands that you stay the same, frozen, flawless, lifeless. Growth demands that you change, stumble, and rebuild. Stop waiting for certainty. Start embracing curiosity. You'll never be fully ready, and that's the beauty of it. Every imperfect step teaches you something a perfect plan never could. Life rewards the bold, not the careful. So publish the post. Launch the project. Say the words. Take the risk. Let the world see your cracks. They're proof you're human, not a statue. The people you admire didn't start perfect. They started messy, scared, and unprepared. But they started. You don't need to be flawless to be free. You just need to be brave enough to begin. 10. Let go of unrealistic expectations. You've been told to dream big, to expect the best, to visualize the perfect outcome. And for a while, it sounds empowering, until reality doesn't match the picture in your head. You fall in love and expect forever, But people change. You start a job and expect fulfillment, but stress replaces passion. You set goals expecting constant progress, but life throws you detours and delays. Then disappointment creeps in, whispering that you failed. But the truth is, you didn't fail, your expectations did. You build a fantasy and punish reality for not living up to it. The Stoics warned against this trap. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not expect the world to behave as you wish. Wish instead that it unfolds as it is, and you will find peace." Life will not bend to your imagination. The world doesn't owe you comfort, fairness, or perfection. It only offers experience, some soft, some sharp, all of it essential. When you demand that life look a certain way, you blind yourself to the beauty of how it actually is. Unrealistic expectations turn love into disappointment, ambition into frustration, and gratitude into resentment. Acceptance, on the other hand, turns chaos into clarity. It doesn't mean giving up, it means seeing clearly. It means you stop arguing with what is and start working with it. You stop saying, "Why isn't this perfect?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" The gap between expectation and reality is the birthplace of suffering. Close the gap and peace rushes in. Let people be human. Let life be imperfect. Let moments be enough even when they're not magical. Because serenity isn't found in perfect outcomes. It's found in open eyes. Trade your fantasies for truth, and you'll discover something better than perfection: contentment. The world will never match your script, but will give you everything you need to write a new one, if you stop demanding and start accepting. 11. Walk away from empty talk and idle circles. Not every conversation deserves your voice. Some words drain you before you even realize it. Gossip, complaints, endless debates that solve nothing. You join because silence feels awkward, because you don't want to seem cold or arrogant. But every time you trade your peace for meaningless noise, you lose a little bit of yourself. Empty talk is one of life's quietest poisons. It disguises itself as connection, yet leaves you emptier than before. People bond over rumors, over mocking others, over problems they never plan to fix, and for a moment, it feels like belonging. But when the laughter fades, you feel dirty, restless, disconnected. The Stoics taught that wise people guard their speech as carefully as their treasure. Your words are currency. Spend them on what builds, not what breaks. Gossip may entertain, but erodes trust. Complaints may feel good, but they change nothing. Every careless word weakens your discipline. So learn the art of silence. When a circle of whispers calls your name, don't join, smile, stay quiet, walk away. Let others fill the air while you conserve your energy. The world doesn't need more voices. It needs more minds that know when to be still. Silence is not emptiness. It's strength under control. It tells people that your time and attention have value. It teaches you to listen deeply, to think before you speak, to respond instead of react. There's power in being the person who doesn't add noise, who chooses presence over chatter. Every word you speak should serve one of two purposes: to heal or to build. If it does neither, let it dissolve. The next time you feel pulled into shallow talk, remember, you don't owe anyone your energy. You owe yourself your peace. Guard your tongue and you guard your power. Because in a world obsessed with talking, the quiet mind always leads. 12. Destroy the habit of procrastination before it destroys you. Procrastination doesn't scream. It whispers. It tells you, you can do it tomorrow. It sounds kind, harmless, even logical. But it's a lie dressed as comfort. Because tomorrow rarely comes, and even when it does, it's already filled with new excuses. You don't lose your dreams in one big explosion. You lose them slowly in small, quiet delays repeated every day. You trade action for comfort, progress for distraction, and potential for regret. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "We do not have a short time to live. We just waste much of it." And that's exactly what procrastination steals. Not your ability, not your intelligence, but your time, the only thing you can never earn back. You say you're waiting for motivation, but motivation doesn't precede action. It follows it. The first step creates the spark. The movement creates the fire. Every time you delay, you teach your mind that hesitation is safer than courage. And so the habit grows stronger, the dream grows colder. The comfort zone becomes a coffin padded with good intentions. Remember this. No one ever regrets starting too soon, only waiting too long. The man who hesitated to chase his dream never lost in a day. He lost it one not today at a time. You might think you're resting, but procrastination isn't rest. It's decay. Rest restores you. Procrastination drains you. So stop telling yourself you're not ready. You'll never be perfectly ready. Start messy. Start scared. Start anyway. Action is a cure for fear, clarity, and stagnation. Each day you delay, your future self pays the price. But each small step today is an act of rebellion against a voice that says, later. Don't let later become your legacy. Choose now. Do the work, not when it's easy, but because it's right. The only way to build the life you want is to stop waiting for the right time and start creating it. These 12 lessons are not rules, they're reminders. Each one is a stone you've been carrying without realizing it. The need to prove, to please, to compare, to wait. You've been walking uphill with a backpack full of unnecessary weight, wondering why life feels so hard. But here's the truth. You were never meant to carry so much. Freedom doesn't begin when you achieve more. It begins when you release what's holding you down. Letting go isn't weakness. It's the most powerful form of strength. It's the decision to stop being at war with yourself. Every time you drop a burden, anger, perfection, gossip, procrastination, you make space for peace, clarity, and purpose to take root. You don't have to transform overnight. Start with one thing, one habit, one weight. Cut it loose today, not tomorrow, because knowing is never enough. Only action changes you. Imagine yourself a year from now, lighter, calmer, unstoppable. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped clinging to what made it heavy. That future begins the moment you choose to act. So take this as your challenge. Don't just watch this video and nod. Do something with it. Pick one of the 12 lessons and start cutting. Write it down. Live it out. Let it show in your silence, in your discipline, in your peace. If this message stirred something in you, don't let it fade when the screen goes dark. Keep walking the Stoic path, one choice, one breath, one release at a time. Subscribe if you want to walk this journey together, because this isn't just a channel. It's a movement toward freedom through simplicity. And before you leave, write these words in the comments as your promise to yourself. I choose discipline, not chains. Let that be your declaration. Let that be your beginning.